Sweet.
So it's just loading up. Okay. Oh, we got a few people in here. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Everybody else on mute.
Yep. Everybody stay on mute just so we can get going. Wayne, I just got to send you this thing.
Okay. Send it to me whenever you're ready.
So I just emailed it to you.
Okay, one moment. Let me just put some here.
So before we get started, I just want to make sure that I have everybody's handle who's present here, right? So I already have Minority Dollars. Who else is here? If you could just unmute and let me know who you are, what your handle is. Oh, I can't hear you for some reason.
Hello.
There you go.
Hey, sorry about that. My handle is rpruiser7043.
All right, I got you.
Thank you.
All right. And then in the, I guess, my left-hand corner, go ahead, yep. I still can't hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, you're good, you're good.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good, you can mute back. But is it Chike?
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you, yep.
Okay, there we go.
What's your handle?
Stutterbox1.
Got you, okay. All right, and then Hannah? What's your handle?
What is the handle?
Your whatever handle you send us in the DMs to submit a question.
17 Von 00. Oh, actually, it's under my name. I'm sorry, Earth to Bamo.
I don't have that one in the sheet, but we'll get to you.
All right.
How do you want me to address you? By your handle or your name?
By my handle.
So just give it to me again. Oh, I got you. You're the artist, right? You're gonna play something.
This is my artist. Yeah, he couldn't make
your artist. Okay, so we're gonna get to you guys towards the end. Cool.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna get started. So I just ask everybody to mute, and it's gonna run it through one more time that because you're agreeing to be a part of this audio and video experience, you're consenting to be recorded. It is gonna go on YouTube Live. All right, and we're just gonna get started with the free throw. So what's up, Wayno?
What's going on? What's up, Kenya? How you doing?
I'm good. You know, just hanging in here with this COVID situation still going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace to Fred the Godson. You see, he he unfortunately lost his life, due to the coronavirus, COVID-19 and all that. So I wanted to just say my condolences to him.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's a lot going on in the world right now. So we're blessed and we're lucky to be here, to be having a conversation with everybody who's joined the free throw today. So before we get into the free throw, Wayno, why don't you tell everybody what the free throw is?
Okay, so for the people who are new today and didn't get a chance to catch us last week, free throws is something I created 3 years ago, summer of 2017, where basically I would go live on Instagram Live every Tuesday and Thursday and just tell people to give me, give me whatever questions they had regarding business, regarding life, regarding whatever they was going through. And however I could possibly help them. So it became, my online mentoring program, basically. I wanted to do this because it's times where all of us, we may feel stuck do the creatively or just in life. And sometimes we need to ask a person, and I wanted to be the person that people could call on. So that's what Free Throws is about.
Yes, so it's a very interactive experience for people who want to join and get a live consultation with Wayno. And it's just a real big think tank. So there's a lot of us who are in here. We're in here to exchange ideas. We're in here to keep the dialogue going. And we're going to have a good conversation today. Right. So I am going to get started with the first gentleman that was on time and he joined us, Minority Dollars. So I'm going to let you can unmute yourself and you can ask Wayno your question.
Okay, first I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. I'm all set.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Hey, how you doing, Wayno? Also, I want to repeat rest in peace, Freddie Godson. The COVID-19 is a real thing, and it's still crazy that some people just don't believe it or just naive to the situation. So it's kind of crazy. Right. This has affected my business. I did send a question. I own transportation medical billing company, in which companies outsource that department to me, and then I make good money. So I am blessed that the company is remote. I am blessed that it is passive, but the problem that I'm struggling now is just not about me anymore. I'm trying to figure out ways. I know how to build a business, but I realize I don't know how to build a brand on what I know how to do. Mm-hmm. And I know how to do, business plans, how to execute, actually really make money, then build a team and do, the things, a real business. But the problem I have is the branding aspect of it. It's kind of crazy. I haven't been on social media in 7 years. And this whole thing, social media thing, this whole Zoom thing is all brand new to me. So I'm just like jumping all in. And how I operate business is usually in a, behind the scenes, silent partner. So all this is kind of like new to me and kind of scary, to be honest with you.
Well, the thing about branding, I don't think, it necessarily has to be, ran by social media or using social media. While these are tools for us, there's tons of companies that nobody cares about the Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, tons of companies. It's tons of companies that nobody cares about what's being tweeted, etc. I think that the biggest thing about building a brand is how to build the awareness. And in order to build the awareness regarding your brand, you got to be able to type into your demo, not only your demo, but your geographics, and then your psychographics. How is the person that you're selling to thinking?
Quick question. Are you talking about the audience that I'm selling to or the customer I'm selling to? I just want to make sure I have that clear.
Well, I think depending on exactly what you're doing, they could be perceived as one of the same. But I think that, whomever is your consumer, like whoever your consumer is, whatever your product is, you got to figure out a way how to tap in and market that product to make a person still want to pay for it, especially right now. Like people are really holding on to every dime they got because we don't know how long this is going to last. We didn't see it coming, and it's scaring everybody. I'm not going to lie, it's scaring everybody. Yeah. So the thing about it is I don't think it necessarily takes social media to create creative aspects or creative ways to get a person to want to engage with your product. It's all about how you push that across. Now, not being on social media for a minute, you kind of been off the planet for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it's crazy.
but it's all good. I think that just reeling yourself back into what's going on and understanding that there are companies that do use social media, but it's not always, interactive to where there's a face of a brand. It's like, I like to buy Pure Leaf iced tea, right? I don't know who the hell makes it. I don't know what the person who looks like makes it. I just know that they got a product that I like, I enjoy. I follow their Instagrams, but, just because I like the product, but it doesn't stop me from buying, buying into the brand. So I think it's just that the whole thing about it is really predicated on what it is you're selling and who you're selling to. And you surveys is a way to that's why they give us surveys. But, nowadays, like, who really has time for surveys? I think, you just got to look at every pro and con to what it is you're trying to accomplish, and then look at the medium, look at the balance in between, see where it makes sense for you.
Like, I had a quick question for you. Who's your core demographic? Like, who is your core customer? What are they like?
Okay, so I do so what happens is transportation companies such as taxi, medical transportation, bus companies when they want to find a cheaper route on how to lower their per hour fee, right? So they're usually 45 to 60 older people that have been running their business for a very long time. But what I realized with the situation is I think I want to take a pivot to move over to another demographic and start a whole new separate business in which I teach people how to build a business. One of the things that I noticed with social media, I haven't been on social media. It was by choice. It wasn't crazy. I just didn't see the benefit. Now I do because with this whole situation, I'm used to like cold calling. I don't care. I get on the phone, cold call and get to somebody. But you can't do that no more. Or you jump, go pull up on a business and walk in and just kind of just say who you are and whatever. But what I realized with social media now, you need it to be able to interact with people from a different audience. And that's what I'm trying to focus on. And the problem I see with a lot of social media is not a lot of people know how to monetize social media. So that I guess that's a question within the question. How do you monetize once you have the platform built up?
Well, in order to a lot of the general, I think the general people that's on social media don't monetize it. There's hundreds of thousands to maybe millions of people who do monetize social media. The thing about social media, what I learned in over the past decade is that there's a dollar attached to every number. So in order to monetize, I think that you got to figure out exactly, and you don't have to disclose what your new business is going to be, but you have to figure out like how do you build your numbers. And by using social media, the way that people make money off of it is usually through ads, through ads or promoting product. But if that's what I'm saying. Like you have to figure out, that's why I say you have to look at the pros and cons and figure out how you fit in between. Because I could be saying something that doesn't apply to you at all. But I just think that the biggest thing about it is that you have to look at, being that you haven't really used social media in a while. Look at, what is working for a similar product, and then just use that as a gauge. You know what I mean? Like look in the comments. You gotta, look in the comments. Look at what people are sharing. Most of the times for products, when a product works really well, you prone to tell a friend about it, and that's just word of mouth. And I think that's the best source of promotion that we've ever had, and it still works till this day. You just gotta figure out your space within that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's
I think if you're looking to digitize what you're doing, like if you said you have a background in medical, I mean, telehealth right now, because of COVID and everything that's going on, is a really big lane.
That's a good one.
Telehealth is going to be the wave in terms of how people are getting healthcare moving forward. People doing virtual appointments and things like that. So I would, if you have knowledge and that's, you've had a business model that's worked in the past, I would see about how you can pivot into that, realm, because there's a lot of opportunities there for telehealth, just because it can be digitized and you can do everything virtually. Not everything, but most things.
No, that's a great recommendation. I like that a lot, actually. Thank you. Thank you.
Hope we was able to help, man.
Yes. Thank you for your time, everyone.
No problem.
Oh, so you're welcome to stay on. I just ask if you'll mute yourself for sure. And then we're going to go, let's see. I'm going to mess this up. So our pressure 7043. You can unmute yourself and ask your question to Wayno.
Hello, how's everyone doing? So I am actually trying to start up a podcast that's mostly music related. And I guess one of my main questions is, have you ever thought about a topic and it sounded good on paper, but then like once you try to record it and then it just doesn't it didn't make sense, or it just didn't like come out the way you thought you did? And if so, like how would you transition like into the next like topic and properly, instead of like having to worry about like editing a bunch and all that?
So this is a really, really good question for me and Kenya specifically, because for the people who do know, we have been working on and building Wayno's Pod, and we've had some bumps and bruises, man. Like I think a lot of people would like to believe that speaking for a living is just as simple as turning on a microphone and just doing it. And while that may sound very simple, is I wouldn't say it's really complex, but you find yourself discovering that it's not as easy as you might have thought it was. I think that for a podcast, first off, you gotta run your own race, especially now because there's so much competition in the podcast field and it's saturated. Some might consider it oversaturated, but I think the only way to cut through in this podcast like lane right now is to create a category. Create a category that's very distinctive. I mean, hip hop and music and entertainment, you know, everybody does that, but how are you doing it? What aspects or what things that can you add into it from your personal life that people might think are entertaining from you? I think just having like if you a good way to gauge how you could build this is have, you know, a few of your friends just sit in a room with you and just have a discussion. You know what I mean? Have a discussion and talk about hip hop and talk about whatever it is that you're trying to do. And you'll find yourself actually recording your podcast based on the engagement that you're getting from them. Your friends or your peers, whomever that may be, if they're engaging with you, then that might give you a little bit about what they want to hear you talk about. So I think, you know, specifically, you first just got to create your category because you want to be different than what I'm trying to do. You want to be different than what Joe Button is doing. You want to be different than, you know, who could I say? All types of people. I can't think of too many podcasts right now. One of my favorite podcasts is Joe Rogan. You know, I love the Joe Rogan pod because it's so diverse and it's so like, while I do love hip hop and entertainment, that's the hours that I spend listening to that is when I learn about everything else. Is when I learn about hunting or when I learn about animals, I learn about mixed martial arts, or learn about conspiracy theories, etc. So that's why I always tune in because they got something interesting to say besides the stuff that I'm used to all the time. So I think like, you know, first and foremost, just create your category and go from there.
Okay. And another thing, because I always want to do like local stuff, because I'm like close to Charlotte, and like I've always wanted to do like shine light on like Charlotte artists or rappers, whatever. Because I always think there's like a bunch of talent in that area that just doesn't even get, you know, spotlight it deserves. Like even like I'm a, you know, Lou fan, like Dreamville and all that. So I would love to like shine more light on that too. But aside from that, I'm just trying to figure out what else I'm gonna do other than that. Because like you said, it's a bunch of people.
I think what you're doing, and this is just me giving you a bit of an idea. Like, just take a page out of Cole Bennett's book, right? While Cole Bennett built, you know, Lyrical Lemonade, it was a brand that ran synonymous with a production company. You know, where he was willing to reach out to all of these guys when they was on a up and coming scene and say, "Yo, you know, I'm willing to shoot your video." So that was one way. And I'm not saying that you're going to be shooting people's videos. I'm just saying, like, for you doing content and creating content, it might be you just doing dope interviews with these up and coming guys. So it might be a guy that I might not be up on, and you do a video interview with him, and you share it amongst your peers and share it amongst the people in Charlotte, and it might catch somebody's eye. And then they say, "Oh, yo, did you see such and such? I never heard of this dude." It's a lot of times we look for like all of these crazy answers, or we look for all these different things that tell us what to do. The answer is usually right in front of our face. So I just think that if you're going to do it, you need to do it from a grassroots standpoint. You need to create a category and attack it, and you just need to be consistent. That's the biggest thing. Don't drop one interview until you got 5 of them. But say, yo, listen, the only way I'm going to be able to get this 5 and keep them relevant is if I do 5 within 2 weeks. But if you set a goal for yourself, if you could do 5 interviews within 2 weeks, then you got your first half of your month. You could drop 1 per week, you know, until you get to the next one, and then do another 5 and just keep it going.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I appreciate that, honestly. Thank you.
No problem, my man.
Yeah, and I think just to kind of piggyback on Wayno a little bit, like I think just being an authentic voice in the space is super key. You know, you always gonna bring something different to the table, and you know, like Lamino was saying, you know, finding what your value proposition is going to be and a way that you're going to differentiate yourself amongst everybody else who's doing what everybody else is trying to do right now is just going to be super key. I would definitely also figure out like what your marketing strategy is going to be as well, because it's one thing just to throw up a podcast, but like you just got to figure out like how are people going to access it? How are they going to find out about it? A lot of cool things you can do in that space is, you know, SEO words, things like that to drive you. So there's all different types of tricks and trades. Actually, this is a really good resource I found this week. The New York Post is offering a YouTube course that's originally $1,400. They're offering it, I think, this week for $29, and it'll show you everything from a podcasting standpoint, everything from YouTube, anything from like a content perspective, how you can grow your fan base. It's $29. I bought it the other day, and it's super. It gives you 6 different courses and how you can utilize these platforms organically to push views and push engagement with your platform or your podcast. So I think marketing, pay attention to that, because no one's going to go to it just because you create it. You got to really have some layers in there and some lanes to push traffic to it as well.
Absolutely. That's dope.
I got you. Thank you very much for that class, by the way, to let me know about that. I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah, I think the link I saw is only live for like the next couple of days, so I would like check that out sooner than later.
Okay.
And if you send us another message in the pod, and I'll make sure somebody can maybe send you the link if you can't find it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
For sure. So cool. So if you can mute yourself, I'm gonna go to the next person. Let me see here. So is it Stagger BQX1?
It's Stutterbox 1.
Okay.
Yeah, Stutterbox 1.
Welcome. How you doing?
Good. Blessings. Thank you. Wayno, thank you for your platform.
No problem,
before I get started, I just want to shout out my family, especially my mom and my younger sister. My mom is an NP, a nurse practitioner. My sister is a physician back home in Chicago. And yeah, man, they're on the front lines. So if y'all can
salute to them, man.
Put your hands on my family, because my sister was currently in the wing that was exposed. So yeah, just shout out to the healthcare workers, the real essential workers, from grocery store to Domino's to the trash and the garbage men and women. So I just want to use the platform to say thank you to them.
No doubt.
Yeah. So again, thank you. My question is regarding a outreach program that I've started back in 2015, 2016, and it's evolved. Essentially, as you know, there are thousands of men, women, children who are experiencing homelessness. As of last year, roughly under 600,000 individuals are experiencing homelessness. I currently live in Boston, Massachusetts, and that number is around 20,068 individuals, men, women, children, and elderly, are experiencing homelessness. And back home in Chicagoland, roughly around 6,000 individuals experience homelessness. Now, my plan or my work has been trying to reach out to eliminate the stigma for homelessness. A lot of people, when they think of homelessness, they think of drug use or addiction, or they tricked off their funds, or they tricked off the money for their family, not thinking about their family. But a lot of these individuals literally just had the wrong luck at the wrong time.
Right. Okay.
So, and I've experienced a little bit of it, and I know individuals who have personally. So my project is called More Blessings, More Life. Also, you can refer to it as MBML. I am creating a product, clothes, warm attire for individuals who are experiencing homelessness. And these are all custom made. These are all made with a purpose behind it. Individuals' blessings. People think that.
Question, bro, real quick. Listen, I know that you were really, this is a very touching story, but you kind of going a little far, and I want you to get your question. Yeah, please.
I'll ask my question. I'm sorry.
It's all good. You're passionate about that, so I can already see that you know what I'm saying. And I me myself, I lived in a shelter before. Me, my mom, and my little sister. So it's very real. I've been through it. You know what I'm saying. So I'm definitely into it. I just want you to just hone in on it. You know what I mean. So
cool.
Please tell me your question.
So again, I'm trying to build a product. Let it be a warm attire to custom attire to pass to the homeless to also extinguish the stigma of homelessness. My question is, how can I bring awareness to my outreach project? Is it better to reach out to vendors, companies, programs to work with, or should I focus on going independent, hitting the grassroots, like hitting the pavement, grassroots, and also where can I locate extra funding if that's possible?
Okay, so first and foremost, what you're doing, great idea. I think that initially, if before you get any funding from people, you have to have it. You have to have your plan kind of mapped out. And I would, being that we're in the room together, I would like you to defer to the brother that we was talking to before, Minority Dollars. You know,
Anthony?
because Anthony, yeah, his thing says Anthony. Maybe you
Yes.
two could connect. Maybe you two could connect after this, because Anthony is saying that, you know, basically what he does is help people build brands. So that's where we start. Secondly, I think that in order to accomplish something like this, the perfect promotion for something like this would be social media. But it's a very fine line, because when you're dealing with homelessness and we deal with social media, which is such a judgmental free zone, you know, they judge everything. You don't want, you know, your actions to be deemed as you clout chasing. You don't want your actions to be deemed as you just trying to do it for the likes or something. If you're doing, you're truly, I can tell that you're truly doing this to bring awareness, but you're gonna have to put some steam behind you before a person says that they want to spend money. Now, of course, you have people who are crazy, super duper rich that just donate to all types of charities and all types of things. But a lot of the things that they might donate to are already set in stone. If your goal is to become a nonprofit, that of course you'll be running a business, but what I think it's called the C. I can't remember the name of it, but you need to make your company a nonprofit. And I think that
501c.
501c. Yeah.
Yeah, 501c. And I think that the most important thing about what you're trying to accomplish is the messaging. So your mission statement has to be strong, but not only does your mission statement have to be strong, the same way when you got on here and you broke down these statistics, it might take you doing a video. It might take you being a little bit vulnerable and letting people know a bit of your story so that you could draw them in. In order to get the funding now, people want to see numbers. And unfortunately, that's just the world we live in, man. I mean, I deal with music. You know, music is my profession, and a lot of people think, yo, you should just sign this artist because they're really good. And while I wish I could do that, a lot of people that are really good can't deliver on the ROI, which is a return on investment. So I think that, you know, if you're creating something that is going to benefit humanity, it needs to be a nonprofit, and you need to be able to show that you're already doing the work. So like you asked, do I think you should be doing a grassroots approach? Absolutely. But you still got to pay bills and keep your lights on. So I think that there's a fine way to make a medium if you're trying to find ways to allocate, or if you're starting to GoFundMe. And that's what I said, like, you know, social media can be very judgmental, but it might take you starting to GoFundMe and writing a certain type of mission statement or doing a certain type of video to kind of use that as your bait to get people to understand what you're trying to accomplish. But I think that you two brothers should connect, because maybe you could teach him some things and he could give you a little bit more insight on what he's trying to accomplish.
I think just super quick, like, I think partnership is going to be important for you in that space. I think you should try to find what other people are doing, or what other agencies are doing in that lane, so that you can potentially leverage. Because here's the thing, like, you could try to go at this solo, but I think it's probably going to be the long haul, right? Or you could find other organizations who have a similar mission, but you're able to bring something unique to the table and leverage their platform that's probably already established. They probably already have a lot of connections. They probably already have some brand awareness that's going to be out there. And then you're able to tap into that. The other thing I would say too, especially with COVID going on right now, if you can find a way to position what you're doing, and it's alleviating homelessness during COVID, or tying it in some way, there could be some grant money that's available to you. You just have to do some research, obviously, but I think right now, because there's a lot of initiatives for COVID and everything tied around homelessness. If you could tie those two together somehow, there could be some opportunities for you
I
there.
think, you know what, too,
Thank you.
you made
Thank
some
you.
really good points,
Yeah.
Kenya. Look, if I don't know if you're familiar with hashtag lunch bag, but that's the first thing I thought of when Kenya brought this up. You know, hashtag lunch bag is a company or a movement that has been going on for like the past, I think, 9 years now. You know, where they've done it everywhere from LA, New York, etc. They get together food and they go out and feed the homeless. And I'm talking about, this is not just, you know, one or two. I'm talking about thousands upon thousands of people that they're providing sandwiches, you know, juices. I even seen one time, because I work for Warner, Atlantic did it, and they were able to get pizza. I think they did pizzas, and they gave out tons of pizzas to the homeless. So look up hashtag lunch bag, because I think that that's a company or a brand that you could possibly align yourself with for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Blessings.
No problem,
Appreciate
brother.
it.
No problem,
Yeah,
brother.
blessings
Appreciate
to you
you.
too. Thanks for tuning in and participating. So we're going to move to the next person. I do not have your handles, but I'm going to start in the middle there. Is it Tavon? Tavon?
Hello, you can hear me?
I can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
get you now.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, it's Tavon. Yeah,
What's up,
Dad,
brother?
you got that right too, man. People be mentioning my name or call me Tavon and all that others. Yeah, you got that right.
It's all
Oh, I
good.
appreciate it. I'm not always that good, but
It's all good. What's going on,
up,
brother? How you
y'all?
feeling today? You all right?
Man, I'm chilling, man. Blessed, man. Trying to stay healthy out here. It's nasty right now.
Yeah.
It's nasty out here right now. But yeah, man, I'm glad I got accepted to even do this with y'all, man. This is my first time like doing something like this with the Zoom and everything. But yeah, man, I just want to touch base because I'm an upcoming artist right now, and you know, is a like while being on the grind, like doing music and stuff like that, and releasing music, it's kind of like I feel like sometimes it get overwhelming. So I just wanted to touch base and like basically ask you like what's the do's and don'ts like for upcoming artists, like so you don't find yourself like wasting time or spending time on too much. I know whatever you do as an upcoming artist, trying to get promotion or whatever like that, I know it really be a wasting time. But like, what's the like some of the key things that like upcoming artists like should know to like really like stay on top of to like
Well, I think,
get noticed or something.
Well, I think with pursuing a dream, or pursuing something that you really love, I wouldn't call it waste time. You know, I call it training. You know, a lot of times when we feel like, you know, damn, I've been doing this for how many years and I ain't got this yet, or I haven't achieved that, it kind of gets a little bit discouraging and it feels like it's impossible. But I think those are the times that really make us, you know, those are the times that really test us to see if we're built for it or not. I say for like an up and coming artist, like some of the things I wouldn't say, let me say not do's and don'ts, because that's really subjective to what's going on. But I will say that, like, you know, some of the do's is to learn how to brand yourself. You know, I read a book and I always go to this book, man. I mean, I wish these people would cut me a check for this. I ain't gonna lie. There's this book called the 22 Immutable Laws of Branding. I was given this book by one of my mentors, and I didn't really understand as a kid why I loved McDonald's so much. The branding of, you know, those type of companies where that brand is all about fun. So as a kid, they're using two of the most attracting colors to eye, which is red and yellow, right? They're using, you know, they're using Ronald McDonald, a clown, and all his friends to brand to us just to sell us chicken nuggets. I know this might sound like I'm going left, but at the same time, I feel like when it comes to artistry, a lot of us don't look at ourselves in the same position as a McDonald's, or think that we could be that big. I think if we look at some of the biggest companies like a NFL or NBA or NHL or MLB, or big food companies, or even a T-Mobile, if we look at some of the ways that they brand to us, that's gonna teach us more about how we could brand to our consumer. So with being an artist, I think that, you know, again, it's like how I was telling the other brother about, you know, what was it? I was telling him about a category, like creating a category. If you're an artist, man, aside from being really, really, really fucking good, because that's the smallest part of being an artist is your talent. The biggest part is, you know, what do you bring to the table? You know, how do you sound? How do you look? How are you presenting yourself? Presentation is everything. You know, that's why you can go into a restaurant and it'll be nice and fancy, and they'll bring out this little ass piece of steak, you know, with all this little things dabbled and dabbled on it. But the way they present it, you like, damn, I feel good for spending this money because I never had somebody put a candle on my butter to warm my butter up. But like, it's just all in presentation. So I think like that's one of the biggest parts of being an artist, to where it's like, you got to really think about what made you want to be an artist. Look at the guys or girls you grew up watching and listening to, and think about how they were able to draw you in, and then think about what your message is along with being an artist and your music and how you're trying to make it, and go from there.
Yeah, nah, that makes sense, because especially what you said about the McDonald's thing, because I seen an interview, rest in peace Nipsey. I seen an interview where Nipsey had made his cover of his album red, because he said when people like walk in the store and that's the red gonna catch their eye, that's the first thing they gonna see. So he made it like, I mean, well, he used it like as a well, that's how he felt like he had caught attention off off his album. He made the Oka Red. Yeah, but that's right though, bro.
But that, and I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more with that, right? Tell me another big company that has the same color pink as T-Mobile.
The same color pink as
There isn't. There isn't. You wanna know why? T-Mobile owns that color pink that they have. The reason why is because, you know, from a branding standpoint, when you walking down the block, I don't care what's going on, you always see that pink. Like you always see it. It pops out, whether it's nighttime, whether it's daytime. But they're doing all of that just so that you could come in and spend money. You know, so I think, like, you know, you usually want to have a person in place, and you might need to do that as far as building a team. You want to have a person in place who can do these things or execute these things, but it's good for you to know because it helps you with how you want to present your artistry.
Yeah, because, you know, I was I thought of that too, like about like the branding myself and stuff like that. And you don't want to go crazy and jump out the box. And, you know, there's a lot of people when sometimes they lose themselves when they trying to like
they overshoot. Overshoot to under deliver. Overshoot, but it's all good, bro. If you can get that book, man, 22 Immutable Laws of Branding.
22 Immutable Laws of Branding?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna definitely check that out, bro. Yeah,
I appreciate having you, man, for real.
Nah, no doubt. I appreciate y'all for real. Stay safe too, man.
Hey, man, that's what you see. I'm in the house, man. I ain't live from outside. I'm in here, man. You know, staying safe with the family.
Say that, man. Thank you, bro.
Thank you for coming through, for sure. We thank you for coming through, and make sure you help us spread the word. You know, let everybody know what we're doing here, because we want to help as many people as possible. So thanks.
No doubt, Johnny. Say no more. No doubt. I got y'all.
No doubt.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to ask you just to mute yourself. You're more than welcome to stick around and continue with the conversation. And I'm going to go to Matthew with the little baby at the bottom of the screen. How you doing?
That's my guy right there.
What's going on, Wayno?
What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm chilling, man. Just trying to be safe and stay.
How's the kids?
It's wild, bro. Like the kids and schoolwork, you know, wife's a teacher, dealing with that, and me, you know, working from home. It's a lot of work, bro. Get that up, yeah. But yeah, man. It seemed like he was talking more on the artistry stuff. I had a question about that, but I'm gonna pivot a little bit. I'm a photographer, videographer. I'm thinking about doing a gallery sometime whenever this, you know, quarantine stuff is over. I got a question about like sponsorships and trying to align with brands that wouldn't mind, I guess, putting some money to be able to help with either some of the financial costs or either like a vendor with alcohol. I see other companies and brands doing it themselves. Even like people, they somehow get Hennessy to sponsor a party, and it'd be like 35 people there, but they have bottles, or you have like the people who supply, you know, the cameras to be able to work in this party when they're doing this like photography thing. Do you have any suggestions on how to be able
Absolutely.
to
I'll tell you one of the biggest things, Matt, and because you're a photographer, you got to leverage your photography. So, you know, because you do photography, that kind of permits you to get into all types of doors. Because one thing about a person who's good with a camera, in entertainment or in business, people usually want them around. I think that, of course, use your network, but I think that it would be really dope to leverage, to basically leverage your skill set to get some of these opportunities. I think now Hennessy, while Hennessy is a little bit a hard company to really do business with, I'll say Bel Air isn't. Bel Air is a little bit more Bel Air is a little bit more accessible, and they are a little bit more open to when it comes to those types of things that you're talking about within hip hop culture, or just photography. Period. I think that what would be really ill is if you put together, and I'm pretty sure you already have it, but put together your portfolio of how you shoot. Kind of set the aesthetic, kind of build it out to what it's already going to look like. Like your gallery, you should have like maybe a 3D print of what your gallery looks like, so that you can sell the idea a bit easier. I think that, if you're able to do that, along with being able to show the people that you've shot, that's what puts you in a driver's seat in order to be able to get these type of sponsorships.
Yeah, I would say too, product integration is big for brands. So just to Wayno's point, like if you can, put together something where you start to include visually what it would look like. So for example, if it was a Hennessy, and you're doing a shoot and there's a way for you to implement product into the shoot or into the experience, I would say you have a big, huge advantage right now, because one thing that's happened is a lot of these live events that brands used to sponsor are not happening right now, right? So brands are actually coming to, when I say us, I work outside of working with Wayno, I work at a radio station, and we do a lot of branding and stuff like that with a lot of big brands, and they come to us for these big, huge live events where there's 20,000 people. Well, we don't have that right now. So one of the things that brands are looking for are ways to integrate into experiences and virtually. So if you're able to get really creative and think outside of how can you give those same experiences, but aesthetically with what you're able to do, that's a win, because that's really what they're looking for right now. And there's money that was already allocated for 2020 events. Now it's out there. So I think if you start on the ground level and you start tapping like the local regional people who handle the brand money, and you're able to kind of get in their ear with an idea or a concept that's visual, now is a real good time to start just making a punch list of everybody who you wanted to ever talk to, and just start, going after them. Another good brand too, that's kind of easy to get to is, not Courvoisier. It was right on the tip of my tongue. It'll come back to me. I want to say Courvoisier, but it's not Courvoisier. When it comes back to me, stay and I'll give it to you. But they basically, the premise for all of these liquor brands, especially, they want to create these multicultural experiences, right, with us, and get products. So that's what I really would focus on.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
Well, usually I do the LinkedIn, check people IGs. I kind of feel like that's a little intrusive in trying to, I guess, get into these people's ears. You as a radio host, Wayno, you as the A&R, like head in A&R, how do you feel about random people coming to you and I don't mean asking for a handout, but just like, hey, you don't really know me, but here is something I do and would like something from you. You understand?
I think it's all.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Wayno.
Oh, so I think it's all about presentation. There's tons of people that come to me, all the time. I mean, like I joke about it all the time, but my DMs is full from top to bottom with artists, producers, models, everybody asking me, and that's why I created this platform. There's some DMs I try to respond to. I can't respond to them all, but even I'll give you a small story real quick about how I signed one of my artists. So I was literally in Walmart one day, shopping. I thought I was low. I had my hoodie on, etc. And this kid, he walks up to me and he's like, "Hey, how you doing? I know who you are. I just want to know if it'd be possible if you could check my music out and just give me some feedback if you got time." And I was like, "Cool." He didn't run down like, "Yo, Wayno, what's good? Yo, yo, man, you need to hear my stuff because I'm better than anybody you ever saw. He didn't do that. So I checked this kid out, right? Kid has a nice little following and he has some stuff going. Fast forward 1 year later, I start working with the kid like October. This is 2016, December. I start working with him around October, November 2017. Fast forward a couple of months after that, I get this kid signed to Epic Records. You know, so and through my company. So, you know, his approach was right. I just think that there's gonna be tons of people that come to you. It's just about how you present it. Even for myself, I asked one of my friends, she works for a big film company. I wanted to learn film. I asked her, could I intern? You know, I put myself, I took I have no ego. So I put my humility into place and I was like, yo, listen, I don't care if I gotta go get food, if I gotta get coffee, I'm willing to come and just sit for a week and learn as much as I can about film. And that alone, she was like, I wouldn't make you do that, but like I would definitely let you come to the film studio. So I think that, you know, it's all about your presentation. And sometimes you got to take a shot as long as your shot is not disrespectful and it's not, you know, left a bit, you're good.
Yeah, and I would say also, you know, do your research on the brands you want to work with, you know, find out what they're doing already in the marketplace. Like if you go to them knowing that you've already done your background research, like people like that, it shows that you took some time to learn about their brands and their initiatives already. And just go to people with an idea. I feel like people love ideas. Like when you go asking, like when you lead with asking for something, just to Wayno's point, it could be a turn off. But if you lead like, hey, you know, I saw your brand's doing this and, you know, I have a great idea of how we could, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like that's just a better way because then you're positioning yourself as a resource rather than, you know, can you do this for me? And the brand I couldn't remember it was Covarsier. So yeah, they have a really big initiative to create multicultural experiences. So, and they do have people regionally that handle the smaller markets, and they have buckets of money that they look to work with, you know, influencers. I don't know what your social media is like, but I would almost position yourself as a creative influencer, because believe it or not, a lot of brands look for like micro creative influencers to do things with. So they're not always necessarily looking for the people that have 1 million followers. They look for people who are creative, who have a decent following, and who they could, you know, collectively work with. So, and there's a lot of, believe it or not, a lot of big brands who will work with a lot of micro influencers. Another brand you should probably look into too, that's not liquor related, is I thought of GE Lighting. And the reason why I thought of them is because I've worked with them on some campaigns before, and they actually have creator series and things like that they've worked with micro influencers. I thought about you because of the photography angle, because they do a lot of special lighting for home spaces and so on and so forth. So just think about how you can enhance what somebody's already doing in the marketplace and like what they're trying to achieve and what you can bring to the table, and they'll have conversations with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Guys, this is great. I love this, Wayno. You doing your thing, man. Any way is possible. And just Rabbit Vision on Instagram, follow. If you need help, any fellas here, or you guys, if you need somebody, I'm New York based, let me know.
For sure.
Absolutely. Got you, bro.
It was nice to meet you. Bye, baby.
Wait. You don't want to wait? He's like, I don't know these people. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go ahead, Cam.
Yeah, so we're moving on. I think the last two people we have music, correct? Yes? We have, I'm gonna start with, so Hannah, your artist is here, or you're gonna play something from your artist?
Yeah, I was gonna play something for you.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I appreciate y'all being patient as well, man, for real.
Yeah, for sure. And so we'll start with you, and then we have somebody else who's gonna play a song. So how long is the song? We're gonna try to keep it to a couple minutes, 2 to 3 minutes.
Yes, the song is about, I'll turn it over around like 2 minutes for you.
Okay, cool.
17. Shout out my nigga Shot World, you feel me? You know we about to take over. It's all year, baby. Huh? final move, I won the game. These dudes move tough and strange. Arms out, we want your change. Standing in the dust and rain. Now wanting this to receive, so I don't want it fade. Kept it under my sleeve, so you won't even touch a thing. How come niggas sought to power is the bang? Same ones riding trains, same ones got a claim. Aim it up, my goal is to shake them up. I never tried to break us up, only tried to take us up. My food's too big, I can't take them up. My place is one. Never let them place me on the side, cause I be saving up. Paying every payment by myself, I couldn't make it stuff. Now I got the dice, I shake them up and then I make the buck. This is wordplay at its finest. King me at my highest, different cities, different climates, different mountains. I'm a climbing, now we at the top. They just lost looking for alignment, got it all up beside me. See you all at the signing. This the final move, checkmate. I'm riding through the rest fake, they fobbing too. Dead weight, they hiding too. It was talk money, never tell. I was silent too. Used to walk funny, never fail. Had to find the truth. This the final move, checkmate. I'm riding through the rest fake, they fobbing too. Dead weight, they hiding too. It was talk money, never tell. I was silent too. Used to walk funny, had to fail. Never find the truth, nigga.
Okay. Where's he from?
Jersey.
Okay. Sounds a little like G Herbo to me.
He got a song that he said that too.
For real? Yeah, no, it's good though. It's good. That was dope. That was dope. You got a question as well?
Yeah, his question was, how would an unsigned artist grow a substantial fan base?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, there's actually a tweet that I saw posted today that kind of speaks to that, and Joe Budden's manager actually tweeted it, and I sent it to one of my artists. He signed, but this is what he said. It said, no touring, less income, more releases, more competition, more clutter, less retail inventory. For recording artists, this is an opportunity to try new things that may give you leverage. Keep experimenting, keep wheels moving, keep creating, right? And the reason why I wanted to say that was because, you know, the way you build a fan base, the true way to build a fan base is person by person. One person is a vocal point for 10 people. So I think, like, you know, when an artist might look at their SoundCloud and they might see, oh, I might have got only 50 plays this week, but, you know, my last song had 100, this only has 50. The next song I put out got 200, but it's not 2,000. I think that you gotta, you know, as an artist, especially in these times, you gotta look at it for the long haul, and you gotta keep giving yourself opportunities to try and keep trying new things. In order to build a fan base, I think, like, it's just securing the data, you know, securing the data. You as manager, right?
No, his right now his manager's in jail, but I'm his second manager basically, so I've been for him so far. All
right, so I mean, meantime or between time, you know, not to take nothing away from the other homie, but it's your time to shine. Yeah. You know, I think, you know, as a person that's on the team, you've got to take measures to really think out the box and say, okay, who's your artist? Like, who's your favorite artist? Who's his favorite artist in the past couple years? And just look at some of the patterns that artist took. Not take their blueprint, but see where they slipped at. See where they could have kept momentum going, where they didn't, and apply some of these different things. Also, like I said, you got to think of your artists as a building, man. You got to think of them as a goddamn warehouse. You got to think of them as the biggest thing, you know, that you can see it to be, and move accordingly through that. You know, one of the people I think of like that was Travis Scott. I was in SOBs in 2013 where Travis Scott was performing for a Reebok event, that when I was working with Reebok, and nobody gave a damn about his music, you know, and only 7 years later, he's performing on one of the biggest video game there is, debuting music on there. So, and that's a different approach for even him. So I think, like, you know, just follow history, especially when it comes to artists, follow history, look at their story, and figure out different ways that you can tell it. You know, this is just me shooting from the hip. If your guy has an interesting story, you might want to utilize IGTV and do a series of him just telling his story, and break it down into parts. That might be part one. He's talking about, you know, living in New Jersey and, you know, going through whatever he went through. Part two, he might got some good stuff to tell about his upbringing in his home. You know, part three might be him on his journey right now. and you could take that and apply it any way you want. But I'm just thinking out loud. You know, it's so many different things that make people like artists today. But just you have to be consistent, and you got to keep creating content. Everything that you do, period, in life right now is content, especially regarding the artist.
And one more question he had, if you don't mind. He said, how do you get a major label to work with you off of leverage and music alone?
Well, a major label, they're gonna come to you, and this is fine, you know, because before I used to have problems with it. Like I said earlier, you know, a lot of people think I should just sign an artist just because they're dope. You've got to be able to bring something tangible to the table. Major labels are Fortune 500 businesses. So even when they're signing people for $1 million, right? You'd be like, oh man, they gave this guy $1 million. That's crazy. They can lose up to $30 million without them even panicking. So like knowing that, you have to figure out from a business standpoint, do you want to do business with a major label? And learning the terms of the business, because it's never about the dollar amount, it's about the terms. So in order to get a major label to want to be involved, you got to move the needle. You know, they're gonna want to see that you got traction. They're gonna want to see if you're worth it. And the thing about it is you get what you negotiate. You don't get what you ask for. So if you come into a major label and you walk in there and you're psyched, and there's nothing wrong with being psyched, because they're gonna be psyched to have you there. But if you have no leverage, then they make the rules. It's kind of like living in somebody's house. If you live in somebody's house, if I say, yo, listen, you can stay at my crib and you might not have a place to be, you'll be like, bet, cool. But I'll be like, yo, if you ain't paying no bills, I need you to be washing the dishes. I need you to take out the garbage. I need you to clean the back of my TV if I need be. And you say, damn, man, that's crazy. You want me to do all that? I'll be like, hey, you ain't paying no bills. I make the rules. This is mine. It's you kind of got to go into dealing with a major label, like dealing with your parents a bit. You know what I mean? Like because they're the ones that, you know, if you want to be in business with them, they had their leverage over you is money. Your leverage over them is art. So if you build your art to a space where it's appreciative and there's people engaging with it, then you got to make a decision if you really want to do business with them or not.
And if you don't mind, what's the best way to get in contact with like a label or somebody that's connected with one?
Be dope. That's all I can say. Do dope shit. Right. Don't contact them. They don't want you to. You don't want to contact them. Why would you want to contact them? You want them contacting you. You don't want to. And the way that you're gonna do that is do some shit that people haven't seen. You know, yeah, I could give you 10 emails to labels. Nobody's not gonna look at that shit.
Yeah.
You need to just utilize social media, utilize platforms like YouTube, you know, utilize Twitch, utilize all these free platforms where you could gain people to come look at your art. Because by that time, when they start contacting you, then the ball's in your court. You make the decisions, not them.
On all platforms right now. That's what we've been working on.
Yeah, but just amplify it. You know what I mean? Everybody's on all platforms. That's why I said create a category. If you got a guy that raps, if he's rapping about the street perspective, his videos need to be like unlike anything anybody's ever seen. His merch needs to be a certain way. You know what I mean? So keep it going, brother. Keep it going.
Thank you.
No problem.
Wayno, can I ask a quick question on his question real quick, or I could wait?
Well, I'm sorry, brother, but I really want to get to this last person because we've been here for almost an hour. So I want to get, let me let him, you know.
Yeah, we'll get to him. And then if we got time, we'll come back. Okay. All right. So Jerome.
Yeah, what's up? Hey, how's it going?
What's going on? How are you?
What's up, Jerome? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, King? How's everything?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
So you got something going to play?
Yeah, I got some music. And I pretty much heard a lot of what he was saying. It's kind of answered the questions I did have, so you don't have to really repeat it.
Okay.
Everything kind of makes sense, so I get it.
Jerome, where are you from?
Jersey. I'm sorry, let me pause this. Yeah, I'm from Jersey City. Where's the goddamn? You guys can hear it, right?
Yeah, we can.
All right, cool.
Hey.
King Curtis. Yeah.
haters not to talk to me? Why these niggas trying to walk with me? Why do these niggas just follow my moves? Why the fuck these niggas talking me? What the fuck these niggas want from me? Feel like hate and that's it all for me. If I don't own 90% of my brand, I won't accept what you offer me. What the fuck you think I'm dumb, nigga? You're not talking to a dumb nigga. You were talking to a king who knows he get his vitamin D from the sun, nigga. Cross me one time and I'm done, nigga. Cross me one time and I'm done with you. Cross me one time and you won't get no press. You won't even get a call from us. Hey, I do it all day. I do it all day, all day. I do it all day. Don't care what y'all say. I'm blessed. I don't need no stress. I don't need no stress. No stress. Didn't get no rest. Fucking these hoes next. Psych. Who do they say that I am, nigga? You think I'm a king cause I am, nigga? I am a trendsetter, leader, a king. Won't see me following them niggas. Won't see me following them niggas. I am just not one of them niggas. I am not here just to cover my life. I just can be one of them niggas. Get it? Hope that you niggas will get it. A lot of you niggas don't listen. Make a decision. All of you niggas the same. None of you niggas is different. This how I did it. Purposely using these flows so they will never see the difference. So how are you different when you're also using the flows? Just to get those to listen, I get it. A lot of you niggas a copycat. Bet $1 million they gon' copy that. I'm about to bring Ricky Bobby back. About to pay someone to body that. Put your career in the body bag. Career gonna flop with your sloppy ass. Drake number 2, I said copy that. But if Drake number 2, what they got me ass? I'm about to cover the top spot. A lot of you rappers are not hot. Know that these haters gon' cop block. Tell them get the hell off my cop. Tell these niggas it's the make it, yeah. Nigga, I am trying to take it there. Fuck niggas, I make it clear. Not a problem, we can take it there. Hey, I do it all day. I do it all day. All day, I do it all day. Don't care what y'all say. I'm blessed. I don't need no stress. I don't need no stress. No stress. Didn't get no rest. Fucking these hoes next. It's like I am trying to get it all from me. I cannot wait till they call for me. Paper chasing, I am getting the bag. Who down to hit up the mall with me? Who down to hit up the mall with me? To security, they all with me. Tell them King Curtis has stepped in the building. Who the fuck these haters all to be? Get it? Hope that you niggas to get it. A lot of you niggas don't listen. Make a decision. All of you niggas the same. None of you niggas is different. This how I did it. Purposely using these flows so they will never tell a difference. So how are you different when you're also using the flows just to get those to listen? I did it, nigga. Bozo.
Yo, that was hard. I ain't gonna front. That was hard.
Appreciate it. My only question would be like, I know I'm doing something wrong. I just don't know as far as growing a fan base. So I'm not sure exactly what I need to spend my money on to get that. I know you got to put something. You know, I don't feel like a fan base is gonna come free. I feel like you're lucky if you get that. Like people is putting the money towards things. I don't know where to put my money into to actually get that. You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need to do, and this goes for everybody. This goes for the brother that was before you. Digital marketing, brother. Digital marketing. That's where you got to put your bread at. Digital marketing and ad space. The same way how certain records are certain businesses are advertised to us, artists are advertised to us. So that could be anywhere, and you got to just get in touch with some digital marketing people. But it could be like you putting up money to make your video, but spending a couple dollars to have your video played as an ad right before, I'm just thinking out loud, Kodak Black's video comes on, or somebody who fits your demo. You know what I mean? Somebody who fits the type of music you make. That's who you got to spend your money at. You got to spend your money on digital, bro, because it's like, yeah, everybody just says, yo, record it, put it out, put the video out. Yo, all of these artists, bro, like even when you see people that you've never heard before and you say, yo, how did he get so popping so fast? Is because they have a digital marketing team. It's not that they overnight success, because they probably been grinding for a whole year before they put out that one record that booms. But you got to have people who are spending money on your digital marketing. Like one person I know personally of is like, and I'm not comparing you to him by no means, but Lil Tecca, right? So my man wanted to sign Lil Tecca in 2018. He found out that Tecca's streams weren't real, right? Like he found out his streams weren't real. And some of them were, but you know, they got people that put extra sauce on shit, you know what I mean, to make it go. Now, Tecca after that, he got new management or whatever the case may be, and they started working on his digital marketing, and the rest is history. But he still had to make a hit record. The kid made a hit record. I can't deny. But at the same time, he got with a team that understood that this kid just needed to be digitally marketed. Right. And I think that's the biggest thing. As artists, you're still a person. You understand yourself as a person. You'll understand yourself as an artist. And you just need to get with a team of people who understand that and know how to market your ass digitally, because that record is really dope, man. I ain't gonna front. All you need, or for something like that, you just really need the right vid. And, you know, a couple of more drinks just like that are in that space. Not the same song, but in that space.
Right.
You good, man. You good.
Who is like, who are people that actually specialize in that I can link up with?
Man, it's tons, bro. We'd be here for a whole day and a half that I don't have to explain all that to you. But I will say, you should look into 740. 740 is a digital marketing team. They did, and these is got, like, a lot of people might think, like, you might look at their client list and think, man, I can't, like, they not going to work with me. They worked with the Migos before the Migos became the Migos. You know what I'm saying? Like, they worked with Lil Baby stuff. They did a lot of stuff for QC in its totality, but they've worked with everybody. They did Young Thug. They did his Bartier when he did Bartier. When he did Barter 6, they did his shit. They started out as like, they were working at Atlantic as a little hub, and then they grew their digital marketing company, and then got out of Atlantic and then started taking on individual clients, and they just signed some deal. They just signed some deal where they joined forces with a couple other people, but they still take on clients, you know, that might not be in a big range as far as streams and all of that, you know, because you got to look at it, man. If you're going to get 1 billion streams one day, it got to start somewhere.
Right. And I'm actually low with streams, you know what I'm saying? I feel
That's
like
fine though.
I can produce the good music and the music that I need to actually get it somewhere, but I don't want to waste the money either. You get what I'm saying? On something that help.
I mean, the product, the thing about it is, once you figure out where to put it, the product is going to sell itself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I think about everything that you like to buy, bro. Everything that you like to buy for yourself. I'm not talking about necessities. I'm talking about like all the things that you might like yourself. The product, it sells itself. I think about, and going back to what I was saying earlier, I was talking to one of my friends today that he just started his, you know, his food business. And I say, yo, dog, you know what's the craziest thing I ever thought about? He said, what? I said, Nike has been selling the same Air Jordan 1 to us for over 30 years. And I said, you want to know how they keep selling it to us? I said, because of the story. They just keep telling different parts about the story and the legacy and the tradition of what Michael Jordan is. It's like, look at this Michael Jordan documentary that dropped the other day, right? I'm gonna show you genius marketing. As soon as the shit comes on at 9 o'clock, Sneakers app pops up, Jordan 5s for sale. They don't come out till next month, but they like, yo, let's get this first wave out the way for the people that's gonna feel a little bit like close to the documentary because they were able to get it early. That's marketing. So I'm not saying necessarily take that model of what they did, but I'm saying it's like, look at all of these big brands and understand why you like them, and then think about your music and understand why would somebody like, I know you think that you dope, right? You know that you dope. You just said that you make good music. So
absolutely,
what's your pitch without having to say it to somebody? What's your creative pitch into how they get to hear your music? You need digital marketing for that. I think that's the only thing you might be missing.
Okay.
All right.
Right. And what did you say the name was again? 740?
740. Yeah. 740 digital. Look into 740 digital. Right. Okay. The dude's names is Raheem and Punch. RAHEEM and Punch. PUNCH. Mm-hmm. They run that company. So you could look into them and, you know, find their Instagrams, and a lot of these guys who might, even though they did what they did, they got a lot of peers that's building their own digital marketing company. So it might not just be them, but they might be able to say, hey, we can't do it, but these guys over here, they doing what we were at a year or two ago.
Right. Okay. Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
And
no problem,
Jerome,
brother.
Jerome, where can everybody follow you on social media? What's your social media handle?
At Jerome_Curtis_. You know, I got all my music up there as well. And that's the main place where I do post it at. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna just tell you, man, and this is just one thing when it comes to marketing, you might have to shorten that name a bit. You know what I mean? Like, people hate your name is your name. I'm just saying, it's like, and I know it's probably because you couldn't find Jerome Curtis, you know what I mean, all in one. But it's like, you know, people, somebody taught me this years ago when I had a clothing line. Is this lady, her name was Rosemary. She had a place called La Vault. It was in Harlem. They sold everything from the Yeezys to the Nike mags. They had them joints. She said, yo, when people want to think, they don't like to buy. So it's like, if you are Jerome Curtis and people look at the consumer, the consumer is smarter than we give them credit for, but sometimes they're gonna say Jerome Curtis. They might see the underscores and be like, I can't find them. Forget it. You know what I'm saying? So if you can figure out a way to shorten, if you can figure out a way to shorten it, then cool. If you can't, then you just rock out until you can. But like figure out the easiest way that people can get to you.
Okay. Sounds good, man. Thanks, Kenny. I appreciate you for inviting me.
Appreciate you, brother.
For sure. So super quick, Wayne, I know Wayne wants to go. So do it in the corner. Anthony, really quick with your question.
I just want to follow up with because I really like business. How do you evaluate something that has no value yet for the artist? I'm not into music, but that was an interesting thing. Like,
man, I tell you, the way that companies evaluate is by data. You know, when you're uploading these songs, like bro, like we live in the Truman Show. You ever seen that movie?
No, I'm gonna check that out. Then.
So that was the Truman Show is this movie with Jim Carrey. Like he was born and his life was fake. He didn't know that his life was fake, and everybody was watching his life at all times. It was his life was a TV show.
Gotcha.
Reason why I'm giving that analogy is that the moment that you press send, there is no deleting. You know what I'm saying? So when you're uploading songs and like Jerome, like for instance, like the brother Jerome, he might have uploaded a few records. Let him have one record that pops, but the other ones didn't. When they call him in for a meeting, they're gonna go over the analytics to say this is what he's worth. You know what I mean? They're gonna go over the analytics to say this is what he's worth. Let's say like you get a record that's streaming 1 million times a week, right? Like let's say you was putting out stuff that wasn't hitting, but this one joint hits and you're streaming 1 million times a week. They're gonna say the thing about it is that record labels, and oh man, I might get in trouble for even saying this, but I'm not against the label, but I'm not pro label. Like I'm not pro label, but I'm not against the label either. And one of the things that they may do is in business, you try to sell whatever your product is at a 400% markup. So they're going to try to get you at the lowest price that they could get you at. That's why I was telling the other brother, your leverage is your art. So if our brother Jerome walks into an office and he's getting 1 million streams a week, he knows that he can grow that. He's already got the information from me to tell him, yo, get with digital marketing, get with this. So if he invests a little bit more money in his digital marketing, that 1 million might turn into 3 or 4 million streams a week. Now, if you're getting 4 million streams a week, you easily getting a deal that's worth over $1 million, $2 million.
So just recap for the Jerome situation is, I don't want to take your time. For the Jerome situation is like in business, if you make $100,000 in revenue, they're going to say times X, this is what your evaluation of your business. But in streams, Jerome got 1 million. Now we can see foresight. Now we can,
they projecting it because they're saying they're going to look and say, yo, he ain't on no playlist. Gotcha. All right. So if he ain't on no playlist, and we get him and we spend some money to market him, give him some bread to shoot better videos, give him some money to give you some bread to and this is the thing, and I'm gonna say this lastly. Yeah, a lot of these companies, they want to keep you dumb. It's not just record labels. It's not just record labels. A lot of these companies don't like when people get the information. This is why I'm here right now giving the information. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Because they would like you to not have your leverage. They would like you to walk into a building and not know what you're talking about. You want to know why? Because they could take advantage of you. Facts. And that's what corporate America, not music business, because I've never sold chicken nuggets, but I'm pretty sure if you come out with Chick-fil-A instead of Chick-fil-A, they're gonna have some fucking problems with you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the thing is like they want you to not learn the business so that you don't understand your leverage and you don't know what position you in. When you know that you golden no matter what, and you say, you know what, my shit ain't booming, but it's going to take me time, and I'm willing to take that time, and you willing to get the experience, and you willing to get the education, that's what they fear the most. So that's why we doing this. That's why we doing Wayno's Pod. I'm going to keep giving out this information. I'm going to keep educating y'all while y'all educate me as well by getting the chance to know y'all and meet y'all. And this is going to be a recurrent thing. But we're gonna keep doing this because I want y'all to know, man, it's game time. It's game time on you if you don't know. You know what I'm saying? My man. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all for taking an hour plus out of y'all day just to spend some time with me in Kenya, for real. Because we a lot of time, like y'all asking us questions, we doing the same thing y'all doing. We on the ground too. Like contrary to popular belief, we ain't getting checked for doing the Zoom. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not getting paid right now for taking my time to do this. I'm on the ground to build something that's going to help people.
Gotcha.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. So again,
So listen,
Kenya.
Yeah, thanks for showing up today. I mean, the way that you can help us out is spread the word about this. If there's people that you think we could help, just keep telling people about what we're doing. We're here every single Friday at 6 o'clock, and we're going to keep going with it. So you can follow Wayno's Pod if you haven't already. For people who are watching on YouTube Live, you can follow Wayno's Pod. Send us a DM, send us a question. If you want to get featured next week on Free Throw Fridays, just hit us up and let us know. And until next time.
Until next time, y'all. Peace.
All right. Peace out. Have a nice weekend.
Yes.